So, we'd love to get in the weeds here. And, you listeners send in some really fascinating stuff sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this Bernico thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole world, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just this company, Bernico, and what they do with food processing machinery.
Oh, it's huge. It's
incredible, the scale of this stuff.
It's a massive industry.
And so many moving parts.
It's funny, actually.
And we're talking poultry, fish, meat.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Packaging, the whole 9 yards.
Because, everyone eats, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And someone has to make that happen.
Right. Someone has to get that food.
Yeah, someone has to get all that food processed and packaged and
out to us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can buy it.
Exactly.
So really, this is a deep dive into not just Bernico, but what does it take to get all this stuff done?
Right.
If you didn't have a partner like Bernico,
what would it even look like?
Could you even do it?
Because, when you think about it, what they do.
Yeah.
It's pretty comprehensive.
Buying, selling, servicing, overhauling.
They do it all.
They handle projects. They design stuff. They consult.
New equipment, used equipment.
Used,
for better.
All these brands we saw on the website.
They know the industry inside and out.
Like Stork, CFS, Bader,
you name it.
Morel, Scanvac, Ishida, Multivac, Tiromat, Geneglacey.
The list goes on.
Systemet, Coppens, McGurrit, Carnitech, Norfo.
It's really impressive.
Kyleson, Fumaco, GEA, Foodmate.
Yes.
They're all over it.
So let's say you're,
So let's just say you're a company.
You're a poultry processor.
You're a poultry processor, right?
And you're growing.
Yeah, you're doing well. You need to expand.
You need more space. You need
a new chilling line.
You need more equipment, right? How do you even...
So where do you even begin?
Start.
Like, if you didn't have someone like Bernico to call.
Exactly.
What do you do?
You're on your own. Well, I guess you'd have to start doing a lot of research.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of research,
Figuring out who makes what.
Right. Who are the manufacturers?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Stork, Mine.
Yeah.
There's tons of them out there.
So many.
Right. And then, so you figure out who makes chilling lines.
Okay.
But then you have to figure out, what model do I need?
Yeah.
What size? What capacity?
Exactly.
How energy efficient is it?
Chicken, can it chill?
What's the pricing like?
Yeah.
And then you got to start thinking about, do
we even buy new?
Do we want to buy new, or
can we afford new?
Can we afford new, or should we look at used equipment?
Used equipment.
Right. Because that could save you a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. A lot of money.
But then that opens up a whole other can of worms.
Right. Because
then you have to figure out,
what kind of shape is this thing in?
Is this machine even in decent shape?
How old is it?
Right. What's the history of this machine?
Is it going to work?
Has it been properly maintained?
Right. Does it even meet our needs?
Is it going to meet our safety standards?
Right, exactly. And that's so much to...
Now, who's going to help you figure all that out?
If
you don't have someone like Bernico who already has all those connections and the knowledge.
They know everybody. They've seen it all.
They know the ins and outs of the market.
Right.
Otherwise, you're kind of flying blind.
Yeah, you're taking a huge risk.
You're taking a huge risk.
Right. And it's not like you're just buying a single machine. Right?
No, it's not like you're just going to plop this thing down in a room and that's it.
It has to work with everything else.
It's got to integrate with your existing setup.
Right.
Or you're building a whole new production line.
So how do you even know, we're buying this filleting line from Bader.
Okay.
This grading system from packaging machinery from Multivac.
And how do you know?
Are they going to play nice together?
Exactly. Are they even going to work together? Are they going to talk to each other?
Because they might have different capacities, different speeds,
different
electrical requirements, different software, proprietary software even.
Right. And someone...
It can be a nightmare.
Has to know that in advance.
Yeah, you need someone who can see the whole picture.
Like a bird's eye view.
Right, the whole production flow.
Right.
And that's what a company like Bernico brings to the table.
They know how it all works together.
They've worked with all these companies, CFS, Scandev, Dishida, Terramat.
They know what works, what doesn't.
They know what works, what doesn't.
What fits together, what doesn't.
They can spot potential bottlenecks before they even happen.
Right.
Design layouts that actually make sense and are efficient.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do this all yourself.
You could end up with a real mess.
Yeah, you could end up with a system that's just a complete mess.
Right.
Underperforming, constantly breaking down.
Costly modifications. So even if you get the equipment that's installed.
Okay.
You think you're good to go.
Now you've got to keep it running.
Right.
There's maintenance, there's repairs.
Things break.
Things are going to break down. It's inevitable.
Right.
And eventually you're going to need a major overhaul.
And if you don't have
So what do you do if you don't have
people in-house to fix that?
Yeah, if you don't have in-house specialists who can handle that.
I mean, a breakdown.
What happens when a machine goes down?
That's got to be costly.
Oh, it can be incredibly costly.
You're losing production time.
Lost production, wasted product.
Especially if it's,
Especially if you're dealing with perishable goods.
fish or something, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You miss deadlines.
Yeah.
Customers get upset. You're scrambling to find someone to fix it.
Emergency repairs.
Emergency repairs, which are always more expensive.
Right, of course.
And you know what's even worse?
Right.
Not doing preventative maintenance.
Right.
Because that can prevent a lot of these problems.
You have to keep these machines
These machines are complex.
happy, right?
Yeah, they're complex. They need regular upkeep.
Yeah.
You need someone who knows what to look for.
Like Jenaglass, Systemit.
Right.
Yeah.
Companies like Jenaglass, Systemit, Coppins.
Coppins make good machines.
They make great machines, but they need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to break down more often and they're not going to last as long.
Right. And you'll just be
hemorrhaging money.
throwing good money after bad.
Exactly.
And I mean, this is all starting to sound like a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely.
Just managing the machines.
Yeah.
All these little projects.
It's constant. Whether it's a minor upgrade or you're redesigning a whole line.
Redesigning a whole line.
It takes a lot of time and energy and expertise.
So if you're a company that's main focus is making food.
Your core competency is producing food.
Packing food.
Packaging food, getting it out there.
Getting it out to people.
Yeah.
Is this really what you should be focusing on?
Yeah. Is this where you want to be spending all your time and resources?
Right, because project management.
Right.
That's a whole other beast.
That's a whole other animal.
Right.
That's planning, budgeting.
Finding vendors.
Finding the right vendors.
Overseeing installation.
Yeah.
Testing, making sure everything's compliant with regulations.
Making sure you're not breaking any laws.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So you're asking your team to do all this.
Right. Are you going to burden your existing team with this?
On top of their regular job?
On top of everything else they're doing.
Right.
Are they even qualified to do this?
Right. And if they make mistakes.
And if they make mistakes, it could be really costly.
Delays. Yeah.
Delays, cost overruns.
Cost overruns. And that's where
Bernico steps in and says.
Comes in and says,
hey, we got this.
We can handle that for you.
We'll take care of the whole project for you.
Right.
From start to finish.
They worked with all these companies.
We know how to do this.
McGurrit, Carnitech, Norfo.
We've got the experience.
If you know.
We know how to get it done efficiently and effectively.
Right.
So you can focus on what you do best.
You can focus on the food.
Making delicious food.
And what happens when it's time to upgrade?
Right.
You got to get rid of the old stuff.
You've outgrown your old equipment.
What do you do with all these old machines?
You need to streamline.
Sell them.
Yeah.
But how do you do that?
But how do you even sell industrial equipment?
It's not like you can just...
It's not like selling your old couch on Craigslist.
Right.
You can't just put it up on eBay.
How much is this giant?
Right. Who's going to buy a used...
metal thing worth?
Shilling line.
Right.
Right. So you've got to figure out how much it's worth.
Yeah.
Which requires knowledge of the market, technical understanding.
Right.
Then you got to find buyers.
Vet them.
Make sure they're legitimate.
Make sure they actually have the money.
Make sure they're not going to disappear with your machine.
And then you have to get it out of there.
Yeah, and then you have to figure out how to actually get it out of your facility.
Yeah.
Dismantle it, rig it, transport it.
It's a huge undertaking.
It's a logistical nightmare.
Right.
And guess what?
Bernico
does that too.
They take it off your hands.
They'll buy your old machines from you.
Right.
They'll give you a fair price.
They know what it's worth.
They'll handle all the logistics.
Dismantling, transporting.
A whole shebang.
It's brilliant.
It's such a valuable service.
Especially
when you're dealing with specialized equipment.
like those companies.
Like Kai Olsen, Fomaco.
Right.
It takes a lot of the stress and hassle out of the equation.
So Bernico, they say they offer top quality services.
They do.
Comprehensive solutions provider.
I mean, that's really what they are.
Right. But what does that actually mean?
Right. What does it really mean in practice?
Especially when we're talking about,
Well, I think the key is
this very specific area.
their specialization across poultry, fish, meat, and packaging.
Right. They're not
just focused on one little piece of the puzzle.
generalists, right?
They understand how the whole thing works.
The whole food process.
From the raw product all the way to the packaged goods.
Right.
Sitting on a supermarket shelf.
And they work with new equipment.
New,
Used
used equipment.
They can tailor solutions to fit any need or budget.
Right.
You need a brand new high-tech line.
They got you covered.
They got you covered.
You need to save some money.
They can help you find good quality used equipment.
Right.
They're really a one-stop shop.
And that's kind of their thing, right?
Yeah.
They want to be your go-to.
They want to be your one point of contact for all your machinery needs.
Buying, selling.
Buying, selling, trading, servicing, overhauling.
Project management, design.
Design, consulting, you name it.
They do it all.
You do it all.
And all these brands we talked about.
Right. And that's not just a gimmick.
It's impressive.
They have deep relationships with all these manufacturers. GEA, FoodMate.
GEA, FoodMate, all the big names.
They're not just brokers.
They're not just middlemen.
Right.
They actually know this stuff.
They're experts.
They provide real expertise and support
throughout the life of
throughout the entire life cycle of your equipment.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's huge.
And this idea of operational efficiency.
Yeah.
Adapting to these changing market demands.
It's a big deal in food processing.
Things are always changing.
Things are constantly changing.
Consumer taste.
Consumer taste, new regulations.
And regulations, yes.
New technologies.
Right.
You got to stay ahead of the curve.
How can Bernico?
And that's where Bernico can really help.
Help at that.
Because they have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
They know what's coming down the pipeline.
They know the latest technologies, the trends.
They have a team of professionals who are really experienced.
So they can give you advice.
They can advise you on the most efficient equipment options.
Yeah.
Help you design production lines that are going to maximize your output.
Minimize waste.
Minimize waste.
Right.
Make sure you're meeting those ever-changing demands.
Right. And they can actually
And what's really cool
refurbish your old machinery.
Yeah, they can service and refurbish used machinery.
So you don't have to buy all new stuff.
So you can upgrade without breaking the bank.
Right.
It's a great way to save money and still stay competitive.
So we talked about selling to them.
Okay.
But what about buying from them?
Buying from them.
Yeah. What are the financial advantages there?
Well, they have access to a much wider range of options, both new and used.
Right.
They have this extensive network of contacts.
They know everybody.
So they can usually get better prices.
Right.
And they're experts in valuing used equipment.
Right.
So you know you're getting a fair deal.
Yeah.
Whether you're buying or selling.
Yeah.
And they're able to service and recondition that used equipment.
Right.
So you can get a high quality machine.
For a lot less.
For a fraction of the cost of buying new.
So you can get a better return.
Exactly.
On your investment.
So it's a win-win.
And then the whole process.
Yeah.
They've got this process down.
They make it so easy.
You contact them.
Contact them. They give you a professional valuation.
Flexible
payment options.
Flexible payment, right?
They handle the dismantling. They handle the transportation.
It's all taken care of.
It's all taken care of for you.
It's like a concierge service.
It's like a one-stop shop.
For giant food processing machines.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they have all these examples on their website.
Right.
They've got like their current inventory.
For inventory.
Things they've sold before.
Just to give you an idea.
Yeah, just to give you a sense of what they do.
What kind of machinery we're talking about.
Right. Like poultry chilling lines.
Yeah.
Complete slaughterhouses.
Slaughterhouses, yeah.
Filleting lines.
Filleting lines, gutting lines.
Gutting lines for fish.
Falling tunnels.
Falling tunnels, yeah.
Trimming lines, brine mixers, graters.
All kinds of graters.
Graters from Linco.
Yeah.
Slicers from Marl Silka.
Slicers, profilers.
Profilers like the Merle TSM.
Tray sealers.
Tray sealers like the Re-Eco.
Thermoformers, yeah.
Thermoformers like the Webomatic APS ML 7100.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty high-tech stuff.
And they had things that they'd sold.
Yeah, and looking at what they've sold.
Like Scanvage graters.
Yeah, Scanvage graters, Merle Carnitech salmon processing lines.
Merle Carnitech.
FoodMate chicken dividing lines.
FoodMate. Linco gutting line.
Linco gutting lines, yeah.
Tyramat packaging machines.
This is...
It really gives you a sense of the scope.
Scale.
The breadth of their expertise.
And there's a person behind all of this.
There's a human element to it.
Yeah, Rafa Bernatowski. He's the main guy.
Yeah, he's the contact person listed on the website.
He seems like a real down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, you get the sense that he's very hands-on.
Yeah.
Knows the business inside and out.
Someone you can trust. Definitely someone you can trust.
And you know what they say?
What's that?
A company is only as good as its leader.
As its leader. Very true.
So if he's that good.
Right. If he's down to earth, skillful.
The company's probably pretty good
It
too.
probably translates to the whole company culture.
Right. And those competitive prices.
Yeah. And I bet that's why they're able to offer such competitive prices.
That personal touch.
Yeah. That personal touch, that commitment to service.
So
what have we learned today?
We've learned a lot.
It seems like managing this whole machinery life cycle in the food processing world.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's a lot more complicated than you might think.
From sourcing and integrating to maintaining and eventually selling.
It's a lot for one company to handle.
Especially if they're trying to focus on...
Especially if their main goal is...
making food.
Making food.
Yeah.
Right. That's their core business.
So Bernico, they come in and they say...
And Bernico says, hey, we can help with that.
Yeah, we can help with all of that.
Yeah. We've got the experience, the expertise, the network.
They've got all these services.
All the services you could possibly need.
Right.
From A to Z.
And they know.
They know the poultry, fish, meat, and packaging industries like the back of their hand.
They've worked with all these great brands.
I've mentioned a ton of them.
They've seen it all. They've done it all.
Done it all. So you, the listener.
So if you're listening to this right now.
You're in the food processing world.
And you're thinking about your machinery.
You're thinking, okay.
Whether you need to buy new equipment, sell old equipment, get something serviced, or you're thinking about a big upgrade.
How much time do I really have?
You've got to ask yourself, how much time and energy do I really want to spend on this?
How much risk am I willing to take on?
How much risk am I willing to take?
Could Bernico help me?
Could a partner like Bernico actually help me streamline my operations?
Save me some money.
Save me some money, some headaches.
Some stress.
Some stress, yeah.
Something to think about.
Check out their website.
Yeah, www.bernicomachines.com.
They've got all the information there.
All the information you need.
You can see what they're all about.
You can see if they might be the right fit for you.
And maybe.
Maybe working with a dedicated expert.
Could be the key.
Could be the key to your success.
You know, avoiding those costly mistakes.
Avoiding those mistakes.
And maximizing your efficiency.
Yeah, maximizing your efficiency and ultimately just making your life easier.
It's worth thinking about.
It's definitely worth considering.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Into the world of food processing machinery.
It's been a wild ride.
It's been a journey.
It has.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.